What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. We have the 87 out finally. We're getting some work done to it. I went ahead and prepped this fender. I hit it with 80 grit and I'm just finishing up taping it off here. We're gonna shoot this with epoxy primer. The fender itself actually looks pretty good, so I don't think I'm gonna do a whole lot of body work to this thing, which is good. I'm gonna hit it with the epoxy primer, let that dry, and then maybe tomorrow, if I have time, I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with some primer surfacer, and I will sand that. If it needs another round, I'll hit another round with it, and then the fender should be ready to rock for paint. Just basically doing panels at a time, just so I have like a goal to make it feel like I'm getting some work done, because I don't really have a whole lot of time to work on this thing. But I'm gonna try my best to get this thing done by the end of summer. So that is the plan. That fender is ready to rock. I just need to hit it with some wax and grease remover. Finish taping everything off. I actually brought my masking machine. It's in the truck right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and mask everything up, shoot it with some epoxy, and that'll be a wrap for today on the fender. And I'll show you guys this side, just kind of get everybody up to date here if you're just tuning in. This one I hit with epoxy primer probably like, oh, it was probably a year and a half ago now almost, but primer. The door still needs a lot of work. This box side needs quite a bit of work. And the tailgate is a complete disaster. So that is what I'm working with. The cab is actually not too bad. I did jam it, so that is done. The inside of the door, I need to do that door yet, but that's where we're at with the truck. I still got to get everything tuned up with the stroker, but that's what we got going on. All right, guys, we got everything mashed up. I mixed the epoxy, so that's good to go. And it always has to be windy around here, apparently, so everything's blowing around, but let's get to it. Step done with the truck. We got the epoxy primer on, and it's actually like a high build. I've actually never sprayed an epoxy like that before, so that's kind of cool. But I'm gonna end up spraying a primer surfacer over it like what I have in the box there. I'll do that probably tomorrow, get that on there, and that fender should be ready to rock. Everything looks super straight on it, so that's cool. All right, day 2. I am working on sanding the epoxy primer here. Super hot out today. It's like 90 degrees with probably like 80% humidity, so I'm definitely not gonna be spraying today. But I just have 180 grit on my sandpaper, or my DA. Just running over this real quick. I am burning through a little bit on some spots here. I'll probably just mix a little bit of epoxy up and just quick. I'll honestly probably just brush this on and then scuff it up good. Oh my gosh, guys, it is hot, but I got this sanded most of the way. I'm gonna actually take a block and finish off that fender. It almost has like a grit to it. I don't know if I sprayed it incorrectly. I feel like I mixed everything right, sprayed it right. I mean, it wasn't as drastic as a primer surfacer, but it almost had like a little grit to it. So it was really easy to tell where I sanded, and so was the other stuff, I'll get at that. But this stuff I think I'm gonna really like. I did burn through, as you can see. I didn't burn through there, here, up on the corner there, a little bit right there. And then this I'll just quick touch up too with, I'll probably mix just a little bit more of that and dab that on there. And then, yeah, slowly come together. It's gonna be one color eventually. I did want to point out one other thing, not really related to the paint or anything, but I'm gonna show you guys here. Notice how far in. The back wheel isn't as bad, but the front is really bad. But look at how tucked in this side is. Okay. Now we go to this side. Sorry for the wind noise here too. It's gotta be windy always, but look at how flush this side is. Shout out to Square Body Beater and Projects Facebook group. They gave me the idea of moving the radiator support over a little bit. And the truck was like this when I got it. I did take the fenders and everything out, and I actually did take the radiator support out. But I bolted it in. I didn't even really think about it, and it's still the same. So I'm thinking it might be something with the frame, because the box does sit a little crooked too. But I'm gonna try and see if I can maneuver it a little bit. It could go a little bit this way, because that fender is kind of popped out a little bit. So I'm gonna try and go that way to see if I can maybe make it a little bit better, because it is pretty bad. But yeah, sorry about the little rant there, but back into the sanding. That UTEC 350 epoxy primer is like basically a primer surfacer is what I'm getting out of it. Okay, I got everything scuffed, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix up a little bit of the epoxy primer, get it on those bare spots, and then let that dry over the weekend. I'll scuff it up, and then maybe on Monday or Tuesday, if the weather's decent, not scorching hot, a lot of humidity, but if it's decent, I will spray the primer surfacer on the door and the fender, and then I'm gonna start on the cab. So that's the plan with that. All right, I'm gonna mix up a little bit of the epoxy primer and get the spots where I went through to bare metal. So I'm gonna get that done. I'll let that dry probably over the weekend. I'll hit that with just some Scotch-Brite because there's just a couple spots. And then I'll mask everything off, and I'm gonna hit the door and the fender. I'll get that all on epoxy, or not epoxy, excuse me, primer surfacer. And then I think I'm gonna move on to the cab. I'm gonna fix some stuff I need to on there. Yeah, that is a wrap. If you guys like this build that I'm doing, go ahead and stick around for it. Make sure you guys if you like the video, like the video. Please subscribe to my channel if you guys are into anything Corvette or square body stuff. This is actually going to be my drag truck, so I'm going to make some adjustments to get it ready for that. I'm going to need a new transmission eventually. I want to get a 4-link done. Oh my gosh, sorry guys, it is so hot. But yeah, that is the plan for the 87, so there's going to be a lot of content coming from that. So I'll see you guys in the next video.